Hello, everyone. Robert Christensen here again. And yeah, just doing some more follow-up videos on this fascinating subject matter that I've been a part of for, 6 years now. And it's called Ascension Symptoms. And then there's always followed up, what are you feeling? What's your experience? What's going on? And yeah, so I'm here actually, I'm doing a whole video series of questioning certain things, like just like, wow, I've come to some realizations recently and made me just think about things that, wow, things, don't seem, to reach my logic box anymore. Something's not computing well. So I'm like, all right, well, let's just question. It doesn't hurt anything. Doesn't take any time at all. And what can, come out of it is, whoa, I never considered that, and so that's what we're doing. And today, with this video, what I'd like to cover is the channeled messages and what they're talking about. The ascension is and what's happening. So there's a concept that there is the idea that an event is going to happen, that something is going to, like a critical mass is going to reach a turning point, that consciousness is going to shift so much that everything in the planet will shift, like either an octave or a dimension, or come into this new reality. And so what does that mean? That means that the whole current reality, it has to fall apart, and it's like, I never thought, well, what does that mean? Can we literally hop that fast from one state of consciousness to the next? Is it even possible when you really think about that? And it's like, to believe that some event, it could happen in an instant, and that the world would completely shift, and that we would no longer even recognize the old world. I mean, can your consciousness handle that? Are you psychologically prepared that if everything shifted? And it's like, gosh, that is a lot. I never really thought that, and, I don't know how much I ever, got into too much of the belief that I just believe this event's going to happen. But I have believed that, there's some turning point that we're eventually going to hit, and it's like, but it doesn't seem like we're getting there. 6 years, there's been a lot of promises that have been made by, multiple channelers out there, people who are channeling spirit guides, angels, archangels, ascended masters, divine beings, that were, so it's said, these are divine beings. I don't know, I'm questioning it all right now. Are these messages, are we sure this is what we want to accept? Because how many times have these messages come in and said something, and it didn't happen? Like 2012 is a perfect example. 2012 is supposed to be the year that, we experienced the collapse of the old world. Like everything was going to come to an end, which also would mean there would have to be a new beginning, or just nothing left at all. But 2012 came and went already. We had, some shifts, some perspective changes, but we had a lot of energy coming into it as well. But the world did not end as we know it. A new world did not emerge. I started having some very interesting symptoms that began in 2012. And of course, so here I am 6 years after, saying, I'm not really sure what's going on, because I've been hearing the same thing for so long, and every year there's some new channels come in. Oh, we've reached it. We're moving through the window. The portal's open. By the end of this year, like August, I think August is always the number one time, August or September, big windows, gateways, portals, and things, and that's when the world's going to shift to its new vibration, and it's come and went many times. And then, there's been many channels that say, oh yeah, there's been a first wave of ascension that shift. People are living in the fifth dimension now. And I believe that. I honestly believed I lived in the fifth dimension. And I just like, well, I don't get that, anymore, when it started coming in to question that, and it's like, wow, that was like 2 years ago when I started questioning at least the fifth dimension. I still believe in ascension and evolution, but the fifth dimension I started, having my own little qualms about, because it's like, I'm talking about living in a state of mind or reality, but nobody else recognizes that around me. Most people would see me to be no different than them. And when I started thinking about that, I'm like, that's probably a good analysis. Yeah, I'm here now with you. We're in this reality. What dimension? Third dimension? Who knows? We're all here right now. But, this is where I started questioning things just don't make sense. It's like, is this all just playing with my fantasy? And what I get, fascinated with the stars, with the concept of higher consciousness, this beautiful new world that's just going to come and completely overtake the old world, and to say, that the old world is all of a sudden bad, ugly, and immoral. Obviously there's a lot of problems in the world. We can see that. There's no need to question that or get into the details, but to believe that something could happen in such an instant that it would literally change the face of the earth, that's a lot for anybody's consciousness to take in. How many of you have went through a huge shift where what you once believed or stood behind, had it all ripped from underneath you, and then you were like, whoa, how big of a change was that? And how long did it take you to get back on the horse, or so to speak, to feel like, wow, I got momentum going, this is good, And if you think about what that experience was, think if the whole world went through that. Are we sure that that could really happen? A mass event, a huge turning point where that would happen across the planet? Well, I don't believe it. I'm just going to say it. I'm calling it out. I'm putting words to it. I don't believe it. I don't believe that is possible. No way, no how. How could you change an entire system of, a particular environment, social settings, the way, the psychological profile is set up versus every facet of our modern day civilization and reality, how people survive, how people are able to provide for themselves, their family, for the world. What would that look like if everything completely shifted, shut down, and we went into a whole new direction? I mean, that sounds like chaos to me. That sounds like a breaking down of everything. And I mean, it's all speculation. Who knows, maybe something could happen, but honestly, think of how many times you went through a huge, huge shift. How did your consciousness handle that? What was that like? And do you believe now that that can actually happen on a planetary level with people that are having multiple, realities coexisting, to just completely stop a particular focus and direction and say, we're just going to go this way now? And, does that even make sense on a planet? If a planet's going in a particular vibrational spectrum, and if it went too fast, to accommodate what we think this ascension is, or what, maybe we're going to say fifth dimension or heaven or this, it means it's got to be, spinning in a new direction or a faster direction, because that's what frequency is all about. So if that were the case, is that where we're at as a planet? Can we handle that big of a shift? And there's this talk that the Schumann resonance is moving that fast, and it's like, well, that's kind of odd, that we would be moving that fast, because it seems like there could be some serious complications moving faster than anybody can physically, mentally, emotionally, psychically, spiritually handle any of that big a shift, and what's happening out there in the world. People are having some weird experiences. They say it's very accelerated, but it's very intense and overwhelming, exhausting. So this is why I'm questioning Ascension Symptoms now and saying, well, let's ask, more questions. Are we sure that we want to accept these concepts? Gosh, I was huge. I channeled a lot of information. I've been one of those people too, where I was a channeler, and I started qualifying my own channelings as it would come in. And it's like, wow, what am I going to share with the world? Is that, is that real? Is that what I want to share? Like, wow, I know I keep saying that, and it feels like it could be good, but after myself has said it, within a year's time, which is the one where you really get to test it, and these things don't happen in the year that they're prophesized that they're supposed to, you got to look back at it, And it's funny, sometimes I even notice it seems like channelers are sometimes saying the same message year after year. It's like, didn't they just say that last year? Did they say that before? Did I say that before? I wonder how many times I may have did that and didn't even believe it, or didn't even realize it. Not believe it. Of course I didn't, I believed whatever was being sold to me, whatever channel message, whatever somebody else was putting, and whatever the flow of traffic, you know what I mean? It's like conformity. Yeah, I'll conform. Which way are we going? Oh, we're jumping off the bridge. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the most logical thing. I won't question. I'm just going to jump off the bridge because everybody else is jumping off the bridge. And that's what this whole Ascension Symptoms thing is. Well, just because everybody's saying that doesn't mean that that's the way we go. You do have a, right to question, to say, is this certain? That's where you want to put your directive, your focus, your attention, your awareness, and say, yes, this is what is happening. And why do you say that's what is happening? Because somebody else has said that is happening? Have you come up with that own conclusion, deduce that through your own personal experience? Go back and see, does that match your own personal experience for that concept, that idea? And just ask. As long as you keep asking, you're going to get some interesting answers and perspectives. Ask your friends, how many Ascension group circles are you part of, or how many people do you know that are also going through this? Just say, hey, I'm just checking out some stuff. I'm just asking some questions. Things just like, I'm not sure of what is really what, and what's supposed to be true, and what's really a part of an Ascension program. Because one, we've never ascended here on the planet Earth, so obviously it's all speculation at this point. So here we are, just hand over fist trying to figure out what this is going to be, and we've all got some beautiful visions, and it means we're amazing in our imagination, what we can come up with, but it doesn't mean that any of that is true and that it will happen, because the only thing that exists is where we're at right now and what we can do here and now. And I'm just questioning certain things so I don't get lost and caught up in the future, and if that is happening, well, give me more evidence that that is true, because what's out there right now isn't enough evidence for my logical mind any longer. Not when I get into my heart, not even that's my mind, that's an easy one to trick, but my heart, wow, talk about where the real truth and discernment comes at. How you feel, the feminine part of this equation. Get into that. Those concepts that this is an event or some fifth dimensional reality that's just coming in, it's all of a sudden taking people into it, and other people are being left behind, but yet nobody's left anywhere. Everybody's still on Facebook. Everybody's still out in public talking about the same stuff, that they've entered this new fifth dimensional timescape reality that's beyond everyone. And soon enough, the event will come and bring everybody else in. But it's like, if you're still paying bills, you're still eating food, you're still going to the bathroom, you have not demonstrated to me that you've stepped into a new dimensional plane of existence. So I went through it personally, and I'm not trying to make fun of anything. I'm just trying to be honest about it, because I was under this impression that I was going through all these symptoms and these experiences, and that this was actually happening. And some people started calling me out, and, and it's like, wow, I didn't even think of that, so there you go. That's just covering this particular topic. So stay tuned, look for more videos if you're into questioning Ascension Symptoms now and seeing what's really there. So yeah, I'm down for greater discovery. That's why I've started this video series, and it's just all about self-empowerment, I think, these days. So tapping into our own authority to think what we want to think, to choose what we want to create, and to generate our own belief systems from our inner source, not from the external stimulation, just what somebody else has, said. And, so what does your true, authentic, divine expression from your heart center really have to say about it? So have fun exploring, experimenting, and questioning. Much love to you all. Blessings.